Hey, you guys, it's Shan. This is Cozy Womb. It's been a minute. I've been very busy. This is episode 41. Fear of sending your kids to school. I mean, that's legit what everybody's worried about in 2018. We all have reasons why. We're going to go over some of those reasons. We're going to go over precautions schools are taking. We're going to go over things, we may feel like is a bit extra when nothing's really going on drama-wise in our lives, but situations where it may not be extra, maybe it should be the steps you take when involving children in school. But I just been packing to move, and getting my 4-year-old in school, getting situated with the hours I have with her sister, changing work and schedules and just doing everything. But how are you guys though? I missed you guys, you know what I'm saying? It's hard being a mom of two. I also have another podcast that I do called She Gets It, for other topics, nothing to do with kids. But if you guys want to listen to that, you're welcome to. But this one, Cozy Womb, we're just going to focus on the kids, the kid life, the parent life, that life. Currently, I am in front of my child's school before I pick her up, doing this because it is so hard to find time to do so. So let's get into episode 41. Let's go. Alright, guys. I mean, it's a scary thing to send your kids to school these days. People just walking into schools, getting in. One thing I do like about my 4-year-old's pre-K is, in order for you to get into the door, you have to be buzzed in. Everybody recognizes who I am. You have to sign in and sign out. There's a DNA list, not actual DNA, but do not allow on the premises list. You put whoever you need to put on there. There's no one allowed to go upstairs into the classrooms or go in the elevator unless they are a parent or on the list of IDs are shown. So that type of precaution I like. And there's doors for every room. And I know all the teachers, I know all the assistant teachers, and I'm comfortable. And I feel like my child is saved. I know where she is. I know what pickup is. I know where drop off is. I know all the side streets. Every time I go to her school, I take a different street. I go up the block, I go down the block. I recognize parents who are coming in now. So all of that is important. When she goes to elementary school, yes, there's more kids. But at the same time, I would like to know her teacher. I would like to know the principal. I would like to know the male parents, the women parents. I would like to see a familiar car. Like, all of that is important. I need to know the side streets. I need to know through my app. There's an app where you can figure out who's on a predator list. Most of them are not supposed to be in a certain distance of a school. So even in your own neighborhood, it's good to know who is on that list, what neighbors are on that list, so you can be aware of who lives in your neighborhood that can possibly be around your kids or have the means to walk down the street around your kids. Also, I know where the nearest parks are. I let my children's teacher know that, she's very friendly, which I am terrified of. She, Anya's a snitch. She would tell on herself. She would tell on someone else. But she's super friendly and she thinks everybody's a friend. She's always looking to hug on people. And I just don't want anybody to be able to walk into my child's school or daycare and snatch her up or harm any children there. Anything like that. No parent does. But at the same time, once you leave your children somewhere in someone else's care, it's up to that adult that you left them with to protect them. And that's always in the back of your mind as a fear when you see things on TV, like children shooting up schools or grown adults walking into schools and shooting up schools or stabbing people. You know, you're not allowed to go to the train station now, even if you were a family, because your throat can be sliced. I mean, things like that, you know, is crazy. And I don't want to raise my children to be like super guarded and just in living in a bubble where you don't go out and you don't take the train and you don't take the bus and you don't really travel because it's not safe. And you know, I wish I could afford to homeschool my children and not work, you know what I'm saying, and be able to maintain my household and be able to maintain my bills and pay my school loans and do other, you know, good things. I wish I could afford that, but the reality is I cannot. The reality is I am a single parent, you know, doing things for myself. The reality is you know, I'm my 4-year-old's only parenting. Because, you know, her father just still doesn't get it. He doesn't get the concept that you just don't talk to a child. You actually provide for a child. And that requires you to put in effort. So until he gets that, I am the only parent. But I do have great family, great friends who step into place of where I can't always do everything. And the key about, you know, being able to protect your child all the way around is involving people that value you, value your family, value your children, and just making them aware of everything that you have going on in order to keep them safe. There's no way that I could raise both of my children by myself. As much as I want to, there's no way, and protect them. So when they go to school, you just let them know you do not walk away with strangers. If someone comes to you with any of these things, then I show a display to Anya of what a gun is, of what a knife is, of what, fire is, or a lighter is, things that you shouldn't play with. You don't eat food from everybody. You don't drink from everybody. You do not touch other people's animals without asking me first. You know what I'm saying? That type of stuff is important because people in 2018 will use anything to lure your child into a car, into a van, to go walk away with them, to go do anything that they should not be doing. And I just want to make my child aware of that. It's hard. It's hard trusting that where you leave your child, they'll be safe. But you kind of have to do it. Your child has to go to school. Your child has to have an education. There's no job that's going to stop me from allowing my child to have that. There's no person on earth that's going to stop me from educating my child. There's no person on earth that's going to stop me from allowing my child to experience what the world is. And we just have to be aware of that. It is a real fear, you know, in America to have your kids in school. Other countries as well, you know, bombings are happening in other countries for other levels of greed and ego. And it does involve children sometimes. It's crazy that they don't care that, you know, this home may have children in it. Even here in America, when they do raids, you know, you see them in packs of police bursting into homes and throwing tear gas into homes, and sometimes they do hurt children. And it sucks that that's not something for them to think about doing something a different way. It sucks that, your children have to be in school and they have to have gun drills in case somebody comes into the school with a gun. Or they have to have drills where they go into a closet or they go into a small room that's bulletproof, because you just don't know what this person is going to do. And it sucks that other children can go to school with your child and be bullied to the point where they feel like they have to come back to a school with a weapon to take lives because of the pressure. And it really sucks to me that there's not a budget within the school system for a therapist to be in the school. Like, that should be number one. You have a counselor. That's okay, but we need to dig deeper when it comes to children and how they're treated in school on a higher level, because I think that's more important than you having soccer or you having football or you having track. I think all kids having the ability to make their friends in school should be more important than them going to a basketball game or a football game or a pet rally or a pizza party or whatever schools have going on where they need a budget. You need to fit a therapist in on that. If you see a child being like really secluded to themselves, check in. If you see a child being picked on, there should be an anonymous box where other kids can put a name in on who needs to be checked in. Like, that type of shit. I don't have a degree in that, but that is just me thinking off the cuff of what would help a child that's being picked on in school, or a child that doesn't have a lot of friends in school, or a child that just doesn't know where they kind of fit in. And we hear stories all the time of famous people who, never had friends in school, or was always, in their hoodie in the back of the class, didn't want to be involved in anything just because they didn't know how to. And they grow up and they become these actors and actresses and musicians that blow our minds. But we don't know a thing about what they went through in order to grow up as adults and really come out of their shell. And who knows what kind of children they would have been if they had somebody there to help them come out of that shell a little bit earlier. And all of that is going to help your child in the same school be better and safer if all kids have a fair beginning of opportunities of what they can get into, and they have just an opportunity to be themselves to the fullest extent as children that grow into teenagers, that grow into adults, because nobody benefits from a child not living their full child potential. Nobody benefits from a teenager not fulfilling their full teenage potential, because they're just going to grow into adults that want to be kids. They're going to grow into adults that want to be teenagers. And we all know what it's like to work with someone that's childish, to work with someone that doesn't know, the proper etiquette to do certain things, to work with someone who thinks the world revolves around their ass. And I don't want to do it. I don't want to have to deal with one of my children having friends who feel a need to act out for attention because their parents weren't giving it to them, their teachers weren't giving it to them, and they just did not have someone that was aware that they needed more help than they thought. And that all goes into the fear of sending your children to school. That's just what it is, right? But, children need interactions with other children. That's how they learn faster. Their speech develops better when they're around other children. Like Ari, she's 1 in about 4 months, and she says at least, I want to say 12 different words. She has her own language, but for the most part, you can understand what she needs when she needs it. And that's more so because she's around her 4-year-old sister. She's around adults. She doesn't go to like daycare with other kids yet, but I will get her in there. And you know, when that happens, of course she's gonna be more verbal. Of course she's gonna be more independent. And is that a fear of mine of what she can pick up from other kids? Yeah. Is it a fear of mine of what Anya, my 4-year-old, would pick up from other kids? Yeah. Like, you know, she started pre-K 3 weeks ago and she's already in the living room sniffling. It's summertime. Oh, so of course she picked up a germ from another kid at school. I mean, she does nothing else but goes to school and come home. And I take her to the park sometimes, but that comes with you sending your kid to school. But you cannot allow your child to live in a bubble because of your fear. Your fear is not going to help them grow into great adults. So come out of your shell. Stop living in fear of your kids growing up in this world that is sometimes not as kind as it should be. But just be open with your kids, talk to them, show them, prepare them, and just enjoy the adventure. That is it. This is Cozy Womb. Thank you for tuning in. I am house hunting right now, so I have a lot of applications on my bed that I'm going through and decisions to make on what offers I want to do. So let me get back to that. But you guys enjoy your evening. Deuces. This is Shan.